Ashley, Alexis, and Julius in this last episode of Love After Lockup. Ashley finally got to meet her gangster Prince Charming. Julius started knocking on her hotel door. She was jumping up and down, so excited. Her titties were bouncing all over the place. You would have thought the Queen of England or Chris Brown himself was behind that door. But no, it was just Julius. But she's treating this man like he's a damn celebrity. She opens the door and she's laying it on him thick. She's talking about how much sexier he looks in person. And you can tell that Ashley's one of those people that doesn't like awkward silence, at least for the first time that she's meeting someone. And Julius was just being all awkward and quiet and was staring at his phone the whole time. And she's just sitting there trying to keep the conversation going. And she's like, oh my God, you're so sexy. You're sexier than Chris Brown. And as soon as she said that, I don't know if you guys have seen these pictures before, but there's like pictures where girls will go see Chris Brown and pay thousands of dollars to meet him at his meet and greets just so they can take all these sexualized pictures with him. Ashley seems like one of those type of girls to do one of those Chris Brown VIP meet and greets. But anyways, as soon as she hugged him, as soon as he walked in the door, she couldn't see him because he's taller than her and she had her head in his chest. But the whole time he's rolling her eyes, making all these dirty faces, and he just seemed like so disgusted by Ashley. He later told the producers that he felt like Ashley looked nothing like her pictures. And I mean, that's kind of Ashley's fault for sending him all these over Photoshop pictures. Like, it's one thing like using a filter here and there, or maybe using like a little nice skin smoothing filter, but she takes her filters and she takes them to the max, where she almost like looks like a cartoon character in some of them, or like an anime character, where she just looks like a completely different person. Like, if I was Ashley, I would have been sending Julius pictures of me without my wig, without my camera, or without my makeup, and saying like, look, this is me most days, or this is what you're going to see at night when we're in bed once I take my wigs and makeup off, to make sure that he at least accepted her at that, so he couldn't try to say, oh, she catfished me. But he did have multiple video visits with her, so he can't say he was completely thrown off by how she looked. He thought she was going to be smaller in person, but she did admit she gained 90 pounds in 9 months. And he's like, but look, you know, she gained some weight, but she doesn't look bad. She's got some junk in the trunk. But regardless, he didn't seem like he was interested in hitting that. I think Julius originally showed up because he was trying to hit it. I think he was thinking if she looked like her pictures, then he was willing to tap that. But once he saw how different she looked in person, he was completely turned off, and he didn't even recognize this person, it seemed like. What was crazy to me is this was this girl's birthday. He had her waiting all day long. He shows up, there's gifts from all her friends. Like, if you're gonna do this to her and show up on her birthday, the least you could have done is bring her a gift. Like, if I was Julius, I would have got her some Rose Forevers. Rose Forever offers flowers that are made with special oils, and these are hand-picked roses, real roses, and they're made with special oils that make them last over a year. You can use my discount code AMBER20MD to save yourself $20 off at checkout. So this is the bouquet I got this time. I am obsessed. They have bouquets that are even twice this size, but this time I decided to go with something a little smaller. Brighten up any room with Rose Forever, and they have plenty of other rose colors and style box options to choose from. So thank you to Rose Forever New York for sponsoring this video. They lay down on the bed, and Ashley is asking him, well, do you want to go swimming? Which I'm like, okay, girl, do you really want to go swimming right now? You just spent all this time doing your makeup, putting this wig on. Are you going to take the wig off and the makeup off when you get in the pool? I mean, if she did that, he would have got a whole new Ashley. But Julius wasn't interested in swimming. He's like, nah, I can't swim. She's like, we can go in the short end, you know, which is only like 3 feet deep. He's like, nope, I can't swim there either. She's like, dude, you're like 6'6". You can easily swim. And he just shut that down real quick. He was just acting like he just wanted to lay up in the bed. As she was talking about how her nose wouldn't stop running and how she's leaking from everywhere. I'm like, this girl is something else. Ashley's hilarious though, low key. And Julius is just sitting there on his phone the whole time, pretty much not paying any attention to her. And I'm like, dude, why did you even show up? You didn't even bring a birthday gift. You don't seem like you want to hang out with her. And on a recent live, when he was asked why he let Ashley on, he's like, oh, well, I just did it because at first I was supposed to go to Alexis's place, but my PO turned down her place to go to, which I wonder why he wasn't originally allowed to go to Alexis's place and why they ended up changing their mind. So he's like, okay, I gotta figure something else out. So he was gonna try to go to Ashley's spot instead so he didn't have to go to a halfway house. I'm sorry, I don't think that's a valid excuse, because if that's the case, then why are you still leading Ashley on outside of prison when you know you have Alexis as a place to stay and you don't have to go to the halfway house? Like, if that's what you're using Ashley for, you obviously don't need her no more, so why are you here at the hotel? It doesn't make any sense. I think he just loves the attention and knowing that he has girls fighting over him. Meanwhile, while he's in bed with Ashley, Alexis is back home blowing up his phone thinking the absolute worst. Like, she just has that gut feeling that he's up to no good because he didn't really tell her what he was doing. He was being all sneaky and stepping outside to call Ashley. And she just knows that something's wrong. Then Ashley's like, okay, so what are we doing? You know, because she's trying to hang out with Julius. She's been waiting all day on this man. It's her birthday. She wants to vibe with Julius. And Julius was like, I think you're getting the wrong idea. And she's like, what do you mean? As she's sitting there with this man's name tatted on her titty in dark black ink. And he's like, well, we're not together. And she's like, hold up, wait a minute. She couldn't even fully process it, so she just had to get her butt up, and she went storming and running out her room. She went running down the hallway. The girl didn't even take her room key. I'm like, girl, at least take your room key. That man could have straight robbed you and robbed all your stuff and dipped out and left you locked out of your own room. And so she ends up going out the room, and she's telling the producers, this is a whole different Julius. This is not the Julius I remember. And he told me something completely different and led me on before he got out of jail. And then she said, and this mother effer can't even swim. She's like, I wish I could push him in a lake right now. There's nothing he can do about it. Finally, Ashley comes back and she's like, okay, so what's going on here? He's like, well, I just don't understand why you think I owe you something. You didn't do nothing for me the whole time I was in prison, so why do you think I owe you something now? And she's like, well, yeah, but you've been talking to me the whole time like I'm your woman and leading me on like you're going to be this amazing man. And he was pretty much telling Ashley the same thing he was telling Alexis. I'm going to come out. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to be a leader. Even though when you look at this man, he's the opposite of a leader. Like, I'm like, where does Alexis or these girls think that he's going to be the type that's going to lead you? If anything, he's the type that's going to lead you off a cliff and leave you hanging. So he's like, I don't owe you nothing. And she's like, well, why did you show up here? And he's like, well, I felt like I owed it to you. Just completely contradicting himself. Like, Julius is not a very good player. Like I've said in my past videos, he tries to hustle women and be a player, but he sucks at lying. He's one of the worst liars I've ever seen. This man had to smoke himself some good reefer or something before he went over there, because he seemed like he was high off his ass, because he had the audacity to say, I'm the catch. I'm the inmate and I'm the catch. Like, dude, you do not have anything to offer anybody to be able to make an income where he's going to be able to be a leader like Alexis wants out of him. So they sit there, and Ashley was so freaking upset, and she even clapped back at him and said, dude, you're trying to say you're the catch, but the catch always gets eaten. She called him out. She's like, do you know how stupid you sound? And I'm not going to lie. That's exactly what I was thinking when Julius was trying to explain himself. He just does not have very good excuses whatsoever for his behavior. And then he was like, yeah, so we're not together. I don't know what you thought this was, but it's not what you think it is. I'm not interested in you. And she's like, well, can we at least hang out? Are you still going to spend the night? Like, I'm sorry. this fool already ruined my birthday and played me. The last thing I would want him to do is spend the night with him. But I think that just shows like how desperate at that time Ashley was for some love and affection, that she was willing to accept that at that time, even after he told her all that. And then he admitted right before that he had another girlfriend. And she still asked him, well, do you want to spend the night? You're with that girl last night, but yeah, I still want to hang out with you tonight. And I think Ashley's finally putting two and two together and realizing, okay, so that's why you're not interested, because you're obviously more interested in this girl. And so she's heartbroken. She goes running out the door again. And then Julius is sitting there looking at her birthday cake her friends gave her. And this mother effer is talking about how he's going to eat all her birthday cake if she doesn't hurry up and come back to her room. He admitted, like, look, I do feel bad for Ashley, and I'm glad that he can at least say he feels bad, because he would be a straight psychopath if he didn't have a little bit of empathy. But at the end of the day, I don't think he feels as bad as he's acting like he does, because if he did, then he wouldn't be stringing her along, and he wouldn't have strung her along for as long as he did. And he said, I feel bad, but at the end of the day, it was just pure entertainment for me while I was in prison. I had nothing to do but just sit there and talk on the phone all day. And I hope that any girl that is thinking about entertaining a man in prison sees that and knows about the risk before they just jump into something like that. And the crazy thing is, a lot of women are open to dating incarcerated men more in 2025 due to how bad the dating pool is nowadays. And I was just reading an article on that, and I thought it was interesting. She thought she would take a risk on an inmate, and she thought she had her little gangster Prince Charming, but it was the complete opposite of that. And I'm glad that she didn't waste a bunch of money in the process and send him thousands of dollars just to find out that he didn't like her. But I am pretty upset that she got this man's name tatted in black ink across her titty. Like, you got your this man's name tatted on your titty for this. Like, she should have at least chilled out and waited. And that's the only thing, like, I gotta say about Ashley. Like, I do feel bad for her, but at the same time, like, girl, you're in your 30s. Like, you should know better when it comes to jumping the gun on something like this. But if she didn't learn her lesson before then, I'm sure she at least learned her lesson from this. Julius kept capping and saying, I don't know what gave her the impression that we were together. She's just getting all excited and being all delusional and coming up with these situations in her head. Like, really, dude? I'm glad Ashley brought the receipts, or at least shared one of them, where she said, what are you calling back? And he said, baby, I fell asleep on some dorky-ish. I'm definitely not acting weird, which he was probably talking to Alexis or his other sugar mamas. That's what he was probably really doing instead of reaching out to her. And he said, I love you so much. I hope you know that. I'm going to be that man you need me to be when I come home, babe, for real. And this is probably the same stuff he was sending Alexis. He was probably copy and pasting the messages. I wouldn't be surprised. Ashley handled it better than me, because I would have been losing my shit at Julius. I would have brought out the receipts, and I would have went through each receipt one by one and been like, okay, then why did you tell me this? Why did you tell me you loved me? Why did you have me get this freaking tattoo if we weren't together? And she didn't just get his tattoo. Like, she got a heart next to his name and everything. But thank God she finally got it covered up. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Julius, Ashley, and Alexis in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.